Severe weather has already made a return now. Is it returning in full swing? Not necessarily. Is it ramping up? Definitely could be. But the one thing that we are watching now, the tropics. But we're actually going to start with severe weather today, as we do actually have a level 2 out of 5 risk in play. I just want to show you this real fast. We do already have a considerable severe storm in effect, and we do have an MD, and I will touch on that in a moment. But a severe thunderstorm warning, this is going to be moving to the south towards Wichita. And in the long run, although unlikely to make it, this could be heading towards places like Ponca City, Pawnee, Stillwater, Bartlesville, Tulsa. So just be prepared, mainly in this area, but definitely a bit further down the line, we definitely need to be watching. But as you can tell, we're already seeing convection bubble up across a very large area, and we're likely going to see a watch here very soon. Here's that mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. It is a watch is likely. Isolated supercells with hail and damaging wind gusts are expected to develop this afternoon. Our wind speeds could get up to 80 miles an hour today, with our hail being around 2.5 inches. As you can tell, we already have that hailer up here near Salina. That is already 2.5. That definitely could make a push for 3. Then we actually do have a bit of a isolated tornado risk today, up to 95 miles an hour. So I do think a watch will be put in place across this area. And when the Storm Prediction Center issues their watches, they issue them in like kind of just like a polygon, and the National Weather Service puts the county. So I think a watch will be issued across this area. I think that's where the actual watch will be in effect, but no counties in Oklahoma. Maybe one, like this one near Ponca City, but that would likely be the only one in effect. As you guys can see, my cat is right there. So say hi. But there's my cat. And moving on to our severe weather side of things, we do have that slight risk, that level 2 out of 5 in play. This does include portions of Kansas City, Wichita, Salina, large marginal risk surrounding it. And honestly, I'm a bit surprised they did not drop our marginal risk down to here. I do actually think storms have the potential to last that far. We do have a 2% tornado risk in play, mainly confined to the west of Kansas City and just near Wichita. But I do think mainly in this area is a brief tornado risk, but this is obviously the main area, this green shaded area. We do have a 15% wind and a 15% hatched hail risk actually back here in portions of Kansas. Could see some hailstones up to probably apple sized, I'd say. Moving on to severe weather tomorrow, we do have a pretty large marginal risk for some damaging winds, I believe. We do have no tornado risk, a 5% wind, and no hail risk. Now this is the HRRR, and although it is not fully through or anything, we don't need to go very far out as it is in the afternoon time. And as we can see here, here's our supercell right now. It was expected to fire a bit of an hour later, you can tell. Great painting by the HRRR on where the storm is, as that is pretty much where it is. It actually does have it developing a swath of maybe large hail, maybe even a brief tornado. And this actually is looking to be a bit of a long-lived supercell. So we definitely need to watch that. And we actually could see some redevelopment here tonight in portions of Oklahoma. And honestly, there's a very favorable environment out there. As you can tell, this is on hour 4 and it dies out around hour 5. Surface-based cape around hour 4. I mean, it's got a okay environment to work with. This is now, as we push forward, obviously we're losing daytime heating. But this storm definitely could make a run into portions of Oklahoma, as there is a decent environment in play that could support a severe storm. Very low tornado risk, although it does actually look like it could elevate a bit with this storm pushing into this area. So be on the lookout mainly in this area, maybe a bit further south, but not much. So definitely need to be watching that. And honestly, a live stream may be warranted later. But we could see some re-sparking, and those storms would push east. Not a great environment to work with. Maybe an isolated hail or damaging wind threat. Now moving it to the east coast for tomorrow into the northeast, we are going to see here, we're going to see a decaying line of showers and thunderstorms. And we could actually spark some reignition back here portions of West Virginia and North Carolina, maybe back into Kentucky and Tennessee. Up into Pennsylvania, we could even have a few storms or maybe even supercells going up. But overall, a very low risk of severe weather tomorrow. And this is a look at the GFS. We're going to bring it back to 12Z so we can see the full run. But as we push forward, you can tell this is our jet stream right now. And it is kind of digging, which is allowing our severe threat to set up across this area. So we're watching that closely today. As you can tell, our jet stream is trying to return south, finally. It's about time. And yes, an increase in tropical activity is occurring right now. We're likely going to see that here in a few moments. And it does look like we're actually going to see a pretty big trough ejection as we head into next week, potentially. This could actually promote some significant severe weather, damaging winds, large hail, and even tornadoes. It's way too early to get into specifics, but definitely could be seeing a chance at that. And as you can tell here, hurricane back here to the east of Florida, and that actually does hit the United States. Now, it's a bit far out to tell if this is going to hit the United States. Will it develop? It's looking pretty likely that it will develop, but where it will go, we are a bit uncertain. And if we go ahead and move here to surface and precipitation, and just kind of show you like what the models are showing, and even like around the 15th, I want to see, like, as you can tell, there's going to be quite a bit of rain. Here's when we move towards the 15th, we're going to see that potential severe weather setup here that ejects off the Rockies that could promote a bit of isolated severe weather. And then we see a pretty strong hurricane around Cat 3 to Cat 4 intensity. Will it be that strong? Probably not, but it's definitely going to be possible. Now here's a look at the European model, and you can tell here our jet stream, it's definitely similar, which it should be right now. But as we move forward, we're not really seeing our jet stream really return to the south. But we are seeing, I wanted to point out, that trough ejection potential on the 15th over the Rockies. So it's definitely something that is aligning as a low pressure system to eject off the Rockies. That could bring severe weather. It all just really just depends on how everything sets up between moisture, CAPE. So a lot of things go into it. Is everything going to align? Potentially. Is everything going to like align? Like I said, potentially not. So just something that we need to watch. If we move forward towards like the 15th, we see here that things really aren't really aligning here. And that's kind of what the GFS was showing. And then here's just a look. We are going to dive deeper into this in a moment. But as you can tell, a low pressure system, maybe a low end tropical storm near the United States. And here we are, Hurricane Kiko, major Hurricane Kiko, currently sitting at Category 4 status. Does look to be heading for Hawaii. Now, by the time it reaches Hawaii, if it hits Hawaii, it would likely be a tropical storm or maybe a Category 1 hurricane. But we are expecting a major hurricane through Sunday morning, so we definitely are expecting that. Here's a look at major Hurricane Kiko right now. You can tell a very well-defined eye right now. And this is just a beautiful hurricane to look at. Now, is it beautiful the area it's heading? Not really. But just beautiful as of now being out in the ocean. And here is a look at the GFS and what Kiko may do. And if we go ahead and move this forward some, we see that it is starting to near the Hawaiian Islands, and boom, right into the big island. It lands at low-end Category 1 hurricane status, so we're definitely watching this closely. Can things change? They definitely can. Will they change? They likely will, but are there going to be major changes? We don't know. And here's just a look at the spaghetti models, and only a few models have this staying to the south of Hawaii, and only a few have it going to the north of Hawaii. A majority of our models have them hitting Hawaii. So Hawaii, you need to be getting on high alert right now. And that is not all. We do have Hurricane Lorena now, and this is heading for the United States as a tropical depression. Keep in mind, no reason to panic. Just parts of Arizona and New Mexico just be getting prepared, as we're likely about to see a potential tropical depression hit. We do already have tropical storm warnings and even hurricane warnings likely going to go into effect potentially here in a little bit. And those may even be in effect by the time this video is posted. Like, we may even have a severe thunderstorm watch by the time this video is posted. But definitely need to watch this closely. And if we go ahead and head over to the this is a look currently at Hurricane Lorena. You can tell not really a defined eye right now. We're kind of undergoing that eye wall replacement cycle. But once that happens, we're going to see a bit of intensification before it starts to die out over land. And here's just a look at what this may do. And you can tell here, the GFS in particular has it just dying out as soon as it makes landfall. Personally, I don't think so. I think it's going to continue up through Mexico into portions of New Mexico and Arizona, but just going to have to see. Here's a look at those spaghetti models, and you can tell some of them have it dying out. Others have it going up through Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, so we just need to watch this closely. And the last thing before we end off this video, yeah, we have an 80% chance of development in the next 7 days out here in our MDR, main development region, and chances have increased to 40% in the next 2 days, 48 hours. Now, I do want to say this could hit Florida, this could go into the Gulf, this could hit the East Coast, this could hit the Northeast, this could just become a fish storm. Although I think if we're really looking at the most likely scenario, our most likely scenario is likely one of these two. But I do think this is definitely possible too, and these two are definitely less likely. And here's a look at the GFS. As you can tell, as soon as this develops in the next couple of days, we're going to start to see rapid intensification occur. This is on the 18Z GFS. We're going to have to bring it back to 12Z to see far enough out. But rapid intensification, and then here, right as it passes by the Caribbean, boom, hits the United States, goes up through portions of Ohio. Gabrielle is likely. This is just a look at the European model. Euro has it developing and then kind of dying out. And as it passes the Lesser Antilles into the Caribbean, it does look like it may try and re-strengthen and become a tropical storm, short-lived fish storm. So we're just going to have to watch it closely. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.